Hello and welcome to another episode where you'll find everything West Ham United women. Today we've got back for the first time for a long time. We've got Zoe Vicarage from West Ham United Women's Supporters Club. Zoe, how you doing?
Very well, Joe. Thank you. How are you?
All good, thank you. Yes, been very busy, but yeah, all good, all good. So look, we've got loads to talk about, so we get through it as quick as possible because those of you that haven't watched before, we like to get everything done in a flash. So we are hopefully a 25-minute podcast slash vlog class, whatever you want to call it, apart from me waffling, which hopefully I might even cut out later. But anyway, straight into the questions. Listen, Zoe, where we are now, it was pretty dire a couple of months ago. We're still in the bottom now, but we're looking a bit brighter. Yeah.
Definitely. There's been huge improvement, and I think if you're saying in terms of looking brighter, I think the Reading game was the perfect example. I think it just finally clicked for the players, and they knew they needed a result, and they went out early and they got it. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than I was, this time 3, 4 months ago. It's still a long way to go. There's a lot of teams in and around the relegation zone, which for the first time in a while is quite unusual in the WSL. But we've got a win, we've got a point. I think the momentum is on our side at the moment, and I really hope it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking like a proper league for the first season. I understand what you're saying about that because it used to be pretty cut and dry, didn't it? So it's kind of exciting because actually, if I have a little look over here, we've got like Bristol City at the moment sitting at the bottom, played 19, got 11 points. But most importantly, the goal difference is minus 51. We've got Villa that's played 18 on 11 points, minus 32. Birmingham, 18.
Mhm.
13 minus 24 goal difference. And we're sitting basically 18 with 13 points and with only a minus 15 goal difference. So, as you say, Zoe, it's looking brighter for us. And regarding the Reading match, well, it wasn't a surprise to me because I kind of knew, well, I didn't kind of, I knew we had that in us. Well, I think we've been saying the same thing like since the beginning of the season. What a brilliant squad we've got. And to see like Svitkova coming into their own, Van Egmond, all actually being the players that we know they are. So it was a surprise that it happened against Reading because they're a tough team too, right? But yeah, and it was great to see, obviously, to see Thomas get a hat trick.
Yeah, and I think that's been the big thing. We've had a lot of injuries this season, and I don't think that has helped at any point. But you had Kenza Dali, you had Brynner's daughter, you had Svitkova, Van Egmond, and Kate Longhurst all playing together, and they're all typically central midfielders, really. But we found a system that unlocked the best of them, and we hit Reading on the counter, and they didn't know what had hit them. And I think that was the most eye-catching thing about it, was the fluidity of our system, how we got our wing backs involved, our defence. It was just a joy, and we do know that we have those performances in our locker. It's just a case of unlocking them, and we did in that Reading game. And that bodes well for if we do stay up and touch wood. I hope we do, but it shows you that next season could be really exciting for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it as well, it was a sign of that, Ollie's got to grips with things as well.
Mhm.
He's settling in and it takes like any partnership, you go into any company and you become part of a team. It takes time to gel. It takes time to understand how to bring the best out of each other. And maybe this is what's happening now. I mean, I was, to be fair, expecting a win, especially after the Reading match. I know there was an international break and that can mess you up, but against 0-0, I mean, I've not got BT Sports. Unfortunately, I only saw the highlights. What did you think of it all? So,
Well, I was playing football for most of it, so I didn't manage to catch it live. So I caught up with it. I think the problem is when you're playing a relegation side and you've got to 6-pointer against them. I always think the first match is going to be a cagey affair, and this came to fruition on Tuesday. We had chances, we were creating it, but I think as the game drew closer to 90 minutes, I think both sides were like, we'll take a point. And I actually believe when we faced them for the second of the two matches, I actually think that would be a much more everything on the line performance from both teams, because it is against a relegation team. And probably, they want, I don't want this to come across the wrong way in how I say it, but actually probably playing Villa once already and then playing next there on when we next play them will probably help us in the long run, because we're not, we don't play them often. So we don't have that. It's not like other teams that we're playing. We don't have that ability to use scouting reports and stuff like that. So I think actually there might be a change to our system that Ollie has identified to go into this next game against Villa. It is disappointing, but I always think when you're playing relegation sides, it's tough.
Well, as I say, I mean, I only saw the highlights, but you did get to see the managers briefly at the end. And I must say that their manager looked a lot happier than we did. So I think that's a good sign as well. And I think the whole team was really disappointed with their own performance. I mean, Grace Fist, I've got it up here somewhere. As she said, it was a rubbish game of football, in my opinion. Definitely not a pleasure to watch or to be a part of, in all honesty. It was clear that they came here to set up and get a point, and I think we expected that, but it's still frustrating that we weren't able to get the goal to win the match. Spot on. But she also went on at the end, which is a positive thing as well, spin on it, is that it's disappointing, but a point is a point and we're still moving forward. We got another clean sheet too, which we're always pleased to get. So we've got to take that into our next game and make sure we put in an improved performance. Well,
Mhm.
that sums it up, right? We don't need to really add anything to that. Spot on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they all know, they're aware of the situation that they're in now, and they know that they need some results. And unfortunately, we haven't won at home in the league, I believe, this season, which has been a big problem for us. We've won at home in FA Cups and those kind of performances, but I do think we've the majority of our matches at home we've either lost or drawn, and I think that's something that will need to be addressed for the next season. But the players know what they need to do. They've got a few more matches left, and what will be at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was great to see Sissoko as well, sort of coming into her own without question.
Mhm.
It's really good to see her, and Vetterline's back as well, fit, thank goodness. So yeah, I mean the possession as well. I mean, it was really evenly matched. It's like we both went out for a point. I guess it was like 57% of possession that we had. We had
Mm.
three shots on target. They had none. Corners we had 9 and 2. So that kind of sums up the whole match as well. So look at you, smile at me because I'm chucking in stats now as well. Look, yeah, it's just it sums up the match really. But also, I mean, look, so we know what we've got to do
Mm.
in our next match against Villa. And I'll
Mhm.
be ever so surprised if we don't get 3 points from that one. Again, not to take anything away from Villa, not at all. But I just want to shout for the cup match that we had, the 11-0. Yeah, it was 11-0 against
11-0.
Chichester
Yeah.
and Kelsey ladies. I want to give a shout out to them. I mean, the season ended. They had a couple of weeks to train for it. They still came and gave us a good match. And so I wanted to give a good shout to them because if I'm honest as well, to be fair, I actually thought it was a mistake on Twitter when they said they'd brought Vetterline on. So I did actually sort of do a little chuckle because I thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't. But I do understand now why Vetterline was brought on. Sorry, not Vetterline. Goodness
Arnold.
me. Yeah, Arnold, the
Arnold.
goalkeeper, was brought on. Yeah, it can. A lot of people thought it was disrespectful, and I kind of understand from their point of view as well. But when you look how thin our squad is, we definitely did need the legs for Villa. I mean, that actually showed as well in the Villa match, right?
I mean, I think it's an unfortunate situation, really. Mac is coming back from injury.
Yeah.
She's been with the Australia squad to continue that rehabilitation from injury.
Mm.
And so obviously she's probably not been cleared to go back to full goalkeeper training, which when you do have an injury, it is tricky. So, and I can understand why they did it. We have suffered so much with injuries this season,
Yeah,
and our squad has looked very threadbare.
yeah,
And so, if it meant one of our players was fresher for the game against Villa, I can see it. But I also see it from the other side of,
yeah,
fans who are just looking in and following Twitter. And obviously, the game's not televised, so we
yeah.
couldn't, we didn't, and we weren't there because we can't be there. So I can see how people have taken it as disrespect to Chichester and Southsea, but you know, it's a needs must, and I don't think it will really happen again.
No, no. And it's strange to actually see a goalkeeper running as well. You never see a goalkeeper running. I mean, Zoe, I don't think I've ever seen you run at all. So yeah, it
Well,
was, but yeah, again, I understood why, and I understand why, as you say, people thought it was disrespectful, but it really wasn't the case for that. We just got a very thin squad as well.
very thin squad,
Injuries
yeah.
we've got. Yeah, so I can kind of, yeah. Anyway, listen, going to move on
Mhm.
because we've only got a few matches left. We've got Arsenal away, Villa away, which is a must win, and Man City at home.
Yeah, and then there's one tomorrow.
Yes, I know. The one tomorrow is Everton.
Mhm.
Now, what do you reckon, Zoe? Come on, give me your
I think we'll
thoughts.
win. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I honestly think our away form is better than our home form. You
mm-hmm.
have to look at how we played against Reading. I think if we follow that format and get a couple of goals early,
Oh, she's gone. Oh, Zoe, you're back. This is what I do love about Zooms. When we freeze, yes, and everybody's on the internet this time of day. So yeah, you were saying about Jill Scott.
yeah, I mean, Jill Scott's one of the key players for Everton now that she's gone back, along with Izzy Christiansen
Mm,
and um, Sorensen, who got the last minute goal for them in the FA Cup against Durham.
yeah.
So they've got quite a few players, but I firmly believe if we just go out in the mindset that we did for Reading, we'll get out and we'll get a result from it. And our away form is so much better than our home form, so we have to take
Mm.
advantage of that. I mean, the biggest disappointment is I think Svitkova is injured, and I've seen the footage of the tackle and how she landed on her ankle, and it's sickening, really. It's an awful tackle. I don't know if the player got booked, but they should have done, and it's just not what we needed. But I think, yeah, I think we can get. We have to get a result, and we have to go. We can't fear Everton tomorrow, and we won't. And I think we'll get a result. If we get 3 points, I'll be happy.
Yeah, yeah, because you're right. Because Kova definitely has been one of our superstars. So
Hmm.
definitely coming into her own there. Yeah, because as I say, really, that apart from Svitkova, there wasn't many highlights for me in the Villa match. You know, apart from Van Edmond as well. She was like showing us how to do keepy uppies in the box. That was quite exciting. But apart from that, there wasn't that much else there. So let's hope it's a speedy recovery from her. Yes, I do think we can win. I thought you was going to say no, that's why I was a bit shocked. If seriously, if the injuries, if
Oh,
we,
have
because
faith.
Martha was also limping as well, so I hope she's kind of not picked anything up. So depending on injuries, I think yes, we can win this next match. I'm expecting a 2-1.
Okay. I think what the Reading game showed me was we got the result ourselves first,
Mm.
and then the results around us went the way that we wanted them to go, and we
Yes.
had got the points.
Okay.
And I think that's literally what we've got to do.
Yeah.
Just got to focus on
Mm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we do that, we'll come away with the 3 points. It'll be a tough ask. They're a very good side. They've improved, they've got investment, they've got their new ground and everything like that. But we have to win. And I think we will.
Mm, I think we will. And look, we've not even touched on the women's, well, not the women's Super League, European Super League, because the women weren't even mentioned. It was just a passing thought, as usual,
Mhm.
towards the end. Anyway, so it didn't happen. So all is good. But it would have destroyed the WSL before we even had a chance to take off. Anyway, so
I have some quite strong views about this
oh, okay,
because I, you
that's a
know,
surprise.
it's, I know. these people who came up with the idea, the cornerstones of the project were from, and no disrespect to any Manchester United women's fans, but your club is only 3 years old, and the Glazers many years ago said that they didn't care about women's football.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
noted.
you've
Yeah.
got Fenway Sports Group, which hasn't invested in their Liverpool side, and
Mm.
yet they were saying they wanted a women's team competition to come in, and I just think we suffered at the hands of men once before because of our sport. Why should women's football suffer again at the hands of men and billionaires? And I'm so glad it hasn't gone ahead, because I think women's football, the 10 years, it's 10 years of the
Mhm.
FAWSL, it
Yeah.
would have completely undone all of that and probably set us
Absolutely.
back another 50 years.
If not more. Absolutely. I don't think we'd have ever recovered from it. But I think that's why we need to quash anything for the future. We need to start getting
Yeah.
stuff in writing. We
Mhm.
need to secure the football for the future of women's football.
Mhm.
But the FSA as well was straight on it as well, getting bang on it as usual. So great shout to them as well from doing all the stuff they were doing behind the
Yeah.
scenes as well.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Deb, another shout out to you. But look, that's it then, Zoe. Because we have rambled on more than we should have done. Really, we do like a short one, especially when there's only two of us. So I just want to thank you, Zoe, for coming in. Do you want to give any plugs about for your football team?
Yeah, I play for Coats and Goalposts in the Super 5 League, which is a great league for women and non-binary individuals to play. So if any of you would like to come along to a training session, or come and play for us, we are growing and we are always on the lookout for new players. It's great fun, and yeah, thoroughly enjoy it.
Great stuff. And also, you can check Zoe out on West Ham United Women's Supporters Club as well. Thanks for listening in, everyone. If you've ever got any questions or anything, just give us a tweet as well, because we'll be doing one before the next match as well, which will be Arsenal away. So, yeah, and we'll see you soon. Take care of everyone. Again, take care of yourselves. Thanks for looking in, and please subscribe because it makes us very happy. Bye.